Welcome to Hero Villains. Today's battle. Which Marvel character can defeat Lucifer Morningstar? Lucifer Morningstar, a character in Neil Gaiman's comic book series The Sandman, and later spin-off series Lucifer, is portrayed as an immensely powerful being. Lucifer is the former Lord of Hell and is often portrayed as an angel, giving him immense power and authority. He possesses abilities far beyond those of ordinary beings. He has the ability to manipulate reality and can reshape the world to his will. This includes creating and altering the physical and metaphysical aspects of existence. As a celestial being, Lucifer is immortal and cannot be killed by conventional means. He has existed for eons and is not bound by the limitations of mortal life. Lucifer has superhuman strength, speed, and resilience. He can fight other powerful beings, including gods and demons. Before we dive into the analysis, please hit the subscribe button and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much. Lucifer Morningstar is the second most powerful entity in the DC universe, second only to his twin brother Michael, and second only to their father, the Almighty, the Lord of the Covenant. Before the multiverse was formed, Yahweh created the two brothers and bestowed upon each a unique gift. Samael, Lucifer's original name, received the will and fire, while Michael was given the power of creation and the demiurgic power, with Michael acting as the primordial force, creating the universe from nothing, while Samael is the one who shapes and gives meaning to its existence. Michael represents the infinite power of God, capable of creation and destruction on an infinite scale. However, he cannot shape what he creates. In contrast, Lucifer cannot create anything from nothing, but thanks to God's infinite will, he can transform everything at will. It is not impossible to defeat Lucifer, and there have been cases in the past where he has been defeated for various reasons. Lucifer's greatest weakness when facing opponents is his tendency to underestimate them to the point of arrogance. This stems from the idea that even if he perceives a threat, throughout the comics, Lucifer has been shown to be able to kill anyone with a single thought, but he chooses not to do so because he does not see it as necessary or worthy. A prime example is Basinos, an entity that takes the form of tarot cards and is considered a copy of the Book of Fates. Basinos has the ability to perceive. However, despite their powerful precognitive abilities, they were no match for Lucifer Morningstar in terms of power, and they frankly admitted it without any arrogance. Basinos bluntly warned Lucifer Morningstar that they would. Basinos secretly plotted and eventually found a way to temporarily subdue Lucifer. They succeeded in neutralizing him by burning his physical body and trapping his power within their own will. This meant that Lucifer was trapped in a loop of infinite will, where the distance from infinity to infinity was only one, rendering him completely powerless until he could be reborn. Basinos was also unsure whether they could actually defeat Lucifer, especially since not even death could hold him back. However, with the help of Susano and Izanami, they managed to create a form of magical binding. This magic was based on a paradox. It can only work if Lucifer wants to destroy more than to survive, making his strong will to fight the opposite of his inherent survival instinct. Gyges and Garames, the ancient Greek titans born from chaos, are as old as the Endless, beings that predate the gods and their systems of power. Meanwhile, Lucifer and Michael are the most powerful archangels serving God, fearing nothing, not even the two titans whom Michael once mocked as meaningless jokes. The only thing that worries Michael is the prospect of being abandoned by God and the threat to the survival of creation. Michael's only fear comes not from powerful forces, but from the fear that God will abandon them and abandon creation. However, disregarding beings like Gyges and Garames leads to an unexpected consequence. As they solidified their status as Elohim of creation, they became beyond the control of Lucifer and Michael, who did not initially see them as a threat from the beginning. The Titans' powers now became quite unique and difficult to define, largely due to their size and the fact that they had solidified their status as gods. Lucifer and Michael possessed the infinite power and will of the presence, but they themselves were not direct embodiments of those powers. Instead, they were created from that power and could therefore be given or taken away at will, by Yahweh. As the Titans elevated themselves to Yahweh, the powers that Lucifer and Michael possessed became useless against them. While the two brothers remained equal in power and will, the core difference lay in the source of those powers. The Titans not only wielded the power, but also its source, leaving Michael's demiurgic power and Lucifer's Lightbringer power no longer enough to defeat them. Fenris, one of the Norse gods, embodied destruction and chaos as creation teetered on the brink of collapse. His power is focused primarily on destruction, making him one of the most dangerous beings when it comes to the survival of the world. Despite his destructive nature, Fenris still sees Lucifer as his master. He even admits that defeating Lucifer would be one of the greatest achievements he could ever achieve, an ambition he shares with his companion, Abansum. Abansum, apparently even in a weakened state and retaining only a fraction of his power, Lucifer was able to defeat Fenris even when he was in his physical form, a state far more powerful than when he was just smoke. This was the same Lucifer who destroyed the Throne of Light. Fenris, though greatly enhanced by the energy he receives from each act of destruction or conflict, was still unable to overcome Lucifer. While Lucifer and Michael may be figuratively vulnerable, as their strength and will weaken, they're still superior to any other entity. This comes from the nature of infinity, a concept that cannot be diminished or diminished. This is represented by Yahweh balancing the entirety of creation with a single hand, while the bloody sword of the Morningstar is equal in weight to it. I would argue that very few beings are capable of doing this. However, if we are to consider entities of a special or difficult to define nature, we might consider characters like Miranda, Gwenpool, Deadpool, Hissenwald, Jamie Braddock, Matthew Malloy, or any entity that possesses powers beyond the normal rules. This is especially true for entities that are highly meta in nature or that operate in a way that disrupts the laws of reality, such as beings that are similar in nature to animating forces, capable of disrupting or distorting the fictional structure of the universe. Please subscribe to the channel, it helps us a lot, and moreover, you will get to see great videos every day. You are the best. Thank you very much. The one above all is the supreme being who created the Marvel multiverse and is the source of all power from which all of creation is made. This includes the powerful entities that operate under him, such as the living Tribunal, as well as all of the lower realms of the mystical tree of life, the structure map of the Marvel multiverse. With his absolute power, the one above all is undoubtedly capable of defeating Lucifer and even erasing him from existence. And if its controlling tendencies had just a little bit more room to write that narrative for itself, it would be completely profound. With the scene designed to scare most people away from the messages in the film, he is often seen as an analogy for DC's The Presence. However, recently, the one above all's supremacy has been questioned. Even so, his power far surpasses that of most other entities. If the one above all is mentioned, it is also necessary to mention the one below all, as both entities are essentially the same being, only differing in their roles and functions within creation. Enigma is a supernatural entity that exists beyond the limits of the Marvel multiverse, existing on a level far beyond all conventional concepts. It is speculated that it takes the form of a crown that covers all things, including the one above all in the House of Ideas, the ultimate symbol of creation in Marvel. The threat posed by Enigma exists on a level so high that it is beyond comprehension, perhaps even beyond the conceptualization of any entity. Given its nameless nature and immeasurable power, Enigma may be the most powerful entity to have ever existed, and is very likely superior to Lucifer in every way. The Dreamer is the ultimate manifestation of God, a being that sustains all existence through his own subconscious. From his dreams, all reality is born, making him the ultimate source of all things. This is the highest state of God, an absolute power that transcends all duality. The Dreamer's essence encompasses everything, governing every entity and every aspect of existence. Before this being, Lucifer is an extremely small and insignificant being. Anyone who reaches the Dreamer in a state of absolute union with God, reaching infinite harmony with the Creator, can defeat Lucifer simply because they are God in the true sense of the word. Individuals who have the potential to reach this level include John Burke, Franklin Richards, and several other beings who have the ability to tap into the absolute essence of creation. The fulcrum is a mysterious entity whose origins are unknown, but what is known about it shows a power far beyond that of most entities in the Marvel Universe. All those who are aware of its existence are highly advanced beings, capable of restoring celestials and even reaching a state of ascension with it. It is theorized that the fulcrum is the direct embodiment of the one above all, or at least a manifestation of this entity in the Marvel Universe. In particular, the fulcrum's appearance is seen as a tribute to Jack Kirby, as the entity is called Jack and takes on the appearance of a younger version of the legendary Marvel creator. With near absolute power, the fulcrum may be one of the most powerful entities to ever exist. If confronted, Lucifer Morningstar would struggle to fight it and would most likely lose to before this entity. The Beyonder in his pre-retcon version is one of the most powerful beings to have ever existed in the entire Marvel multiverse. His power far surpasses that of any force in the multiverse, and he transcends all limitations that other entities are bound to. The Beyonder is not bound by conventional concepts such as gender or biological nature. He exists as a being beyond the entire multiverse, more powerful than any individual or group, even if all entities in the multiverse were to unite against him. At his peak, he was considered the second above all, second only to the one above all in absolute power. I've always believed that these two entities are on par with each other in terms of power, and I still maintain that Lucifer has a better chance of winning than losing. However, judging by the statements and interpretations made, it's probably about a 50/50 chance for either side to win, with the Beyonder possibly even having the upper hand due to how he's been portrayed. I'd also like to mention the living force, as some consider it to be a major element in the Marvel Universe. However, little is known about this entity other than that it's said to be the creator's power source and has the ability to warp reality, a property that Lucifer has also been described as possessing. While Scarlet Witch acts as a channel for the Force and has worked with Doctor Doom, they still don't have full control or mastery of this power. Furthermore, their story is intertwined with the House of M event, and that version of Scarlet Witch does not possess the same power as Lucifer, so on a theoretical basis, there is not enough evidence to conclude that the Life Force or a similar entity could actually defeat Lucifer. Also, I will not include Protege in the hypothetical scenario of infinite omnipotence because it is highly unlikely that he could mimic Lucifer's power or even defeat him when he was serious. Theoretically possible, but very unlikely. This category is for beings that would somehow be at the core of creation and change everything that happens in the multiverse. It is possible that the Beyonder destroyed it, and not everything is absolute. I probably would not include him or any of the characters that are supposed to go there and control the stories. I'm actually referring to the idea that the characters should be scaled up to it completely and not count House in on it. If I did, then it's very possible that it could defeat Lucifer, but if Omega Beyonder destroyed it, then I'd have to argue that Lucifer could too. This would change with more options and rely more on Lucifer being arrogant and narcissistic instead of being careful and actually not destroying the opposition immediately like he claims. For all the characters I'm going to mention would probably be wiped out of existence if he was serious. Dr. Doom. This guy is no stranger to stealing status or becoming God. With the right mindset, he could somehow do what the Titans did or even trick Lucifer himself. This is near impossible, but I still think that with all the resources available, there could be a scenario where this happens. This Titan has in the past acquired some artifacts that allow him to alter reality. Since Thanos is a master strategist and would do anything to gain complete control, he could defeat Lucifer if he had something like the Dunamis Demiurgos or perhaps a divine weapon to destroy Lucifer. Doctor Strange, one of the most famous magic users in the multiverse and has been the sorcerer supreme of the Marvel Universe for decades. He is known to be very calculating and has been part of many groups that have plans to help stop threats that could destroy almost anything. His magic alone would not be much use against Lucifer, but his ideas could lead to cooperation and everyone eventually finding a way to defeat Lucifer. Michael Korvac. Obviously, I am referring to the Korvac from Earth 82432 and not the canon Korvac we see. This guy is very skilled at messing with anyone, including cosmic entities, and the likelihood of us getting something if we don't stop him is similar to Protégé. I don't think he can defeat Lucifer, but if he does, then there might be some kind of master plan. Charles Xavier, the longtime leader of the mutant group, he is very knowledgeable about everything, and he can understand some situations to be able to defeat Lucifer. If anyone can do that, it is Professor X. I hope you enjoy this fight. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's it for today's video. Thank you very much.